So next up, we're going to talk about Forminator Pro. Forminator Pro is a very popular plugin for managing forms, and you get the Pro license for having your site hosted and created by DRM. So when we use Forminator Pro, we see that there are forms here, and we will go ahead and create a new one just to start from scratch. And we can quickly use one of these pre-made templates, which is great because it will do quite a few things for us. So let's go ahead and hit contact form, and we'll call this the contact form to keep it straightforward. And when we hit create, it's going to do a few things for us. It's going to make our form out with a first name, email address, phone number, and message. So let's say that we want to take this another step forward. We could insert a field, and let's say we want to make sure that we get their last name as well. So here we'll pick name, and we'll pick that this is the last name label. And we'll go ahead and hit apply. And the last thing we need to do is just drag and drop this. So here we can drag this right underneath last name, right underneath first name. You can see it also supports side by side, and I had it side by side there with the email address. So let's actually make it go first name and then last name side by side. So to do that, I'm just going to drag it over here to the right where I can see that blue bar showing up right next to first name, and now they'll be side by side. Now it marks this with this little symbol. This means that this has not been saved yet. So we can save this draft, and we'll see that that goes away. And then we know that this is kind of current. The other things we're seeing are there are red asterisks on certain things. This means that those items are required. So let's say it's more important for us to have a phone number than an email address. We'll go ahead and edit this field, and we'll say that we want this to be required by going to settings and saying that it's required. Now we can override this error message. It'll put one in by default, but we can say that we want something else here, and let's say please enter your phone number. And we'll go ahead and hit apply there. So now we've got the symbol that means it's not saved, but we can see that we've got the red asterisks kind of coming down here. This automatically took care of a few other things for us. So let's go into the edit settings for the email address. So we'll hit the gear and hit edit field. And inside of settings, there's some validations. So this is going to make sure that this is an email validated field, and it can warn you if there's not like an @ symbol in there and stuff like that. And it'll take care of things like that automatically for us. So validation is really, really neat. Let's go ahead and insert one more field just so that we can kind of get a feeling for what all this can do for us. You can see there's a lot of great options in here, like a reCAPTCHA that helps if you're getting a lot of spam submissions, calculations so it can add things up and get a quick quote form together. You could add an address field or a website field, and it's going to make those fields look correct for those types of entries automatically. So let's go ahead and do an address field, and you'll notice that it says insert fields plural. So what it's going to do is add all of these fields for us. In this case, we're going to have an address, an apartment, city, state, zip, and country. Let's say we deal with mostly US places. We could turn that one off and hit apply. And now, after we've kind of built this out, maybe we want address right above message. So we're just going to drag this up here. After we've got this all built out, we can hit preview. Preview is going to load this in a little modal where it'll pop up and let us kind of run through what's going on. And you can see where our labels are coming in, how we've got these things side by side, how we've got our email address, phone number required with the asterisks. We've added our street address, which has given us our address, apartment number, suite, basically address line 2, city, state, zip code. So maybe we want this to feel a little bit more homey because we're based in the US. We'll give our examples instead of Sydney and South Wales. Let's go ahead and fix those, and maybe fix our phone number to feel a little bit more local, like a 419 for us in Mansfield. So we've got our everything kind of built out for the most part, but we're going to make a few quick tweaks. So for address, we're just going to hit settings, edit field, and we're going to come in here to, let's see, one of the ones we wanted to edit was the city. So placeholder, instead of example Sydney, let's say example Mansfield, and then for state, let's say example Ohio. Same thing with address, let's give something like 123 Main Street, and then for, let's see, did we have zip code? Yeah, so let's do 44905. And let's hit apply, and now we can hit preview one more time, and we'll see those updated placeholders with a little bit more US-based feeling items. Maybe we want to change that phone number to 419. We'll do that real quick. So we'll come into the phone number settings, and we'll hit edit field, and we'll change this to a 419-525-2127. We'll hit apply, and there's our example in there. We can save this as a draft, or we can publish this. So let's go ahead and hit publish. When we go through and hit publish, it gives us a short code that we can copy by clicking this. That's a great quick way to get that into our page. So let's show how to get this live. So if I come over here to pages, and I'm editing, say, the home page, there's a few ways to get a Forminator item added. One, we can just paste that short code, which is a great thing to do once we've just created one anyway. So we've got the ability to add this quickly. So I'm just going to hit enter, and I'm going to paste that. When I paste that short code that I copied, it does all of this for me. It knows that it's a Forminator block, and it places it in there. So now I've got my Forminator form ready to go. Another way that we could do this, I'm going to go ahead and delete this, is use our add block option. So when we kind of get our mouse spaced in between, we get that plus, and I can type in form, and when I put the form in here, it asks me which form do I want. We had the schedule call already in there. I'll go ahead and pick contact form, and it's going to place that in there for me, just like the paste did of the short code. All right, I'm going to leave without saving and head right back to, where do we go? Forminator Pro. And down here in Forminator Pro, a couple things I want to point out. We've got this published contact form now, and then we can view stats. We can see things like how many times it's been submitted, how many people see it versus submit it. That would be our conversion rate, and we can get details about it like that. Another thing we can do here, let's see, I don't want edit, I want submissions. We can look at who all submitted to our form, so we can get a record of everybody that has submitted anything. It'll also be able to email you, but sometimes email doesn't work right? It gets caught in spam, somebody's server's down, something like that. So as long as the website is up and receives the form, it will record it in the submissions area for the form as well. And let's take a real quick look at notifications, and then we'll be set here. So we're going to go ahead and edit this. And let's see, so we're going to hit edit, and the last thing I want to bring your attention to real quick is email notifications, and in here we can say where we want this to email. It'll default to the admin email address for the WordPress, but we could add additional ones in here too. So we could say the sales team, and say sales@drminc.com, and here is our form. And then we want to make sure we add the form data. So here we'll just say all forms or all non-empty forms. All non-empty would mean anything that they didn't fill out won't come into the email, and just put in things that they used. So that's what I'll use here. And we got that submission. And then let's see here. We need to say where we want it to go. Oops, that was the subject, sorry. So the subject is new form. And over here in recipients, we want to say who this is going to. So in this case, we'll do sales@drminc.com. So here we've got our email, we've got our recipients. There are a lot of other things you can do there, but we're going to go with that for now. And now we'll get two emails, one at admin and one at sales. And I see I made a typo, so we'll fix that real quick. So recipients@drminc.com, and we'll call that good. There are quite a few other things you can do with this. You can modify the appearance, you can modify the behavior, which means like messaging that they'll get back. You can make it go somewhere else. You can do all kinds of advanced things with this. A really hot thing is integrations. So if you have things like MailChimp, for example, you can integrate something so that it signs them up for your email list automatically, and those are just added by getting integrations added on the page. So let's see, it's going to warn me that I'm navigating away from the page because I changed that notifications and I didn't hit update. So we want to go ahead and hit update to save it. And then let's go ahead and look at the integrations list real quick. So in here you can see there's quite a few things like MailChimp we talked about already, but you can integrate with HubSpot, Slack, all kinds of neat items. Zapier is a really handy one because it lets you plug into a whole lot of other applications. Anything that works with Zapier can work with Forminator. So that's a good overview for Forminator. We'll keep continuing through our other plugins that are pretty popular. Thank you.